Okay, welcome back to part 2. Now we've got a lot to get through in this video. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to export out the animation we created last time. Now, if you don't know how to create more animations, because what we're going to do is we're going to create more in a bit, is you just click on this little add action button here, and that will add you a new animation. Now, most of your animations are going to want to start at the idle. That's why we've done the idle first. If you can't find this and you're in the 3D viewport or whatever it is, you can just click on this button up here and move to the dope sheet and make sure you set it to the action editor, not the dope sheet, and then you can see all your different actions. Okay, so let's export this out. File. Now, before you do that, if you aren't following along with this particular tutorial and you're just doing your own model, you'll need to change this name here. It'll say armature here, so just change that to anything. I'm just calling it what it is, so Harry. And then change this, what says armature here as well. I just call that skeleton. Okay, make sure you've got everything selected. So I like to do this in layout mode. Select everything, File, Export, FBX. Now you're going to have to set up some parameters here. So I've already got it set up. So this will all be selected, but you just want other mesh armature and selected objects. Scale to be 1. Now I've had a problem where Harry wasn't facing the right way. So all I did was grabbed him. I pressed RZ 180. And then because he was slightly off center, I then moved him into the center. But because I've already done that, it's fine. But if you import your stuff into Unreal and you find that he's facing the wrong way, just turn him around. Okay, let's carry on with this. Right, so File, Export, FBX, selected object, armature, mesh, other. I set the forward to be -y. That's normally right. Geometry set to faces. Armature. It'll be set up like this, but we don't want the leaf bones, and we don't want the we only want the deformed bones. Make sure bake animations ticked. Leave all these ticked. Set sampling to 0.1 and simplify to 0. Then hit export. It'll take a second. With Unreal, what we're going to do is I've already created a folder called Harry. So make sure you just right click and create a folder. And inside that folder, we'll create a new folder called Blueprints. A new folder called Animations, and a new folder called Mesh. I'm going to drag the Harry FBX into the Mesh folder. I'm going to make sure Skeletal Mesh is selected, Import Mesh is selected, and Import Animations is selected. And I'm going to hit Import All. Now, I've already done this video a couple of times. I've had a bit of problem creating this particular video. So I've already created like a blank animation for run and a blank animation for walk. So in this video, we're going to go and fill in the walk animation, but we'll do that in Blender. But for now, we've got these animations here. We want to put them in the correct folder. So you should have it set up like this. If you click this Show or Hide Sources panel, you can then get an extra sort of list of your folders, and we can move things around quite easily. So I want to put the animations into the animations folder. So the animations are all the green files. Select them, drag them, put them in animation, and just select move here. Don't select copy because we don't want a copy of them. Okay. And the materials will load up eventually, and that's it for now, except for one thing. Okay, go to your content folder, go to third person BP. Now I've already renamed it, but yours will be called third person character, and it'll be in the blueprints folder. Like I said, I've already had to do this. I've moved the files back and mess about, but basically it'll be in there, and it'll be called third person character. What you want to do is grab that and put it in your blueprints folder and select move here, and then go rename that Harry_BP. Okay, now if we open that up, go to viewport, select the mesh, go to here, select the Harry mesh, and there he goes. We brought him in straight away, no problems. Compile. Now what we're going to do is we need a walk animation, a run animation, and an idle to create the blend space. Now we've already got a idle, so now we've got this. We know it's set up, we know it's facing the right direction. Let's quickly go back to Blender and work on this walk animation. Okay, I'm going to select 3D viewport here, and I'm going to go through this quite quickly because we only have 15 minutes for each video, so we've only got 10 minutes to knock out a walk cycle. Now, I've been having some problems with Blender in that now we've set up this rig so that we should be able to say if we create an animation like a pose like this. Let's before we start and I'll show you examples, just go back to the dope sheet, make sure you're in action editor, and then on the idle animation click this here, and that's going to add a new action and then call it walk. Okay, right, and then what we're going to do is we're going to quickly grab some reference. So I should have some open already. It's this John Williams walk reference from the animation survival kit. Best book on animation you're ever going to get. Definitely, if you're interested in animation, you should get that book. I think it's only 20 quid. Right, so you'll see what I mean in a minute by copying poses over. Let's give that a go. So we want to create this pose first, and then you'll notice that this pose is actually just the opposite of this. And we should, with the way we've named our limbs and everything, we should be able to get that to work. But I've been having some problems with it, so we might have to just keyframe everything. Okay, so let's get on with it. So the most important thing is the height of the head. So this is the basic height. The contact with the feet on the floor and the rotation of the body. So the body's slightly rotating towards us. The heel is on contact there and the toes on contact there. Okay. Now, if you want to, you can press Alt-R, Alt-G. That's going to get rid of all rotations and all movements. And then I'm just going to bring the arms in slightly. And then I'm going to go to the side view, and then we're going to set up that first pose. So bring the foot. I'm going to bring him down slightly. Not too much, just a little bit. Bring the foot out, rotate the foot, bring it up, like that. Bring this foot back, select the toes, rotate them back, and then rotate the foot forward, and then we can get that. Now, this rig isn't the best rig ever. I just knocked this up quite quickly. It'll do for what we need. I'm going to bring the feet, oops, wrong bone, bring the feet in slightly, and then the knees as well. Remember, these control the knees. And then I'm going to bring that back foot in as well. Just that front foot a little bit more. Make sure the knee travels. The pole target travels with the knee. Oh, we don't want that. And bring that foot there. Okay, good. Now, this arm wants to be coming back because the arms do the opposite of what the legs are doing. So if the front foot is back, then the front arm is forward and vice versa. So this one's forward, that leg is backwards. Okay, frame one, done. Lock that in. So drag over everything, hit I, location, rotation. Okay, I'm going to give myself some more frames to play with, 100, and I'm going to put a keyframe on every 10 frames. Now, this is a cycling animation, so the first frame wants to be the same as the last, so we'll hit Shift-D to duplicate. Make sure your mouse is in here. Shift-D to duplicate. Okay, now let's test this reverse in the animation. So if we go in the middle here, make sure everything's selected. Select your initial frame, Control-C to copy, then Control-Shift-V to paste that in, and you see how that's pasted that in reverse. Okay, so it worked that time. I don't know why it weren't working earlier. Okay, so now it's posted that keyframe, it's copied it, but it's reversed all of the stuff so that we're only going to have to make one half of this walk cycle. It makes things a lot easier for us. Okay, so we've got to keep going because I don't have much time on each video. So let's have a look at how we break this down is we do this pose, and then we find the middle of that. So this pose is next. We don't do them in order. We think of the most extreme poses, and then we do a breakdown pose or a in between of those, and then you're in between those, and that's how you break it down. Okay, so let's have a look at this. Foot flat on the floor, foot coming back, arms are in the center, but the arms should be done. And then this leg is like a bit of a right angle, and the foot is sloping backwards off the ground. Okay. Now, the further the foot is off the ground, the more exaggerated the walk cycle will be. So that's something to keep in mind. We don't want a ridiculously exaggerated walk cycle. So we'll press Alt-R to get rid of all the rotations there, because if you remember, we want this foot to be absolutely flat on the ground, like that. And this foot I can just grab, was back here, up slightly, R to rotate, and it was off the ground. But not far, because we don't want really too exaggerated of a walk cycle. It's important that you look from the front view and all the different views at the same time, even though really we are just focusing on the side view mainly here. Lock that in. I, rotation, location. Okay, so the next one is what I call the extreme down. So look at the head. This is where we're at our most down in our pose. In fact, before we go any further, I've made a bit of a mistake here. So I'm very quickly going to undo. I'm going to just delete those keyframes, and I'm going to put a little bit of rotation in the body when he's walking. So you rotate towards your leading foot. So he's going to rotate a little bit that way. Okay, that's going to be important. That sells a lot of the animation. So I just wanted to go back and put that in. I, location, rotation, Shift D, put it there, come to the middle, and it's copy this frame, and we want Control C to copy, then Control Shift C to paste it. Okay, and now you'll see he's got a bit of a wiggle in his body as well, and that's what we want. Okay, let's go in and put that passing pose in again, real quick. So grab the foot and that, and Alt R to get rid of all the rotation. Place this on the ground. Now, if you don't go as fast as me with this, don't worry about that. Okay, remember this is the passing pose. So if we look at our reference on the passing pose, he actually extends up a little bit. Look at the contact with the head, and he extends up. So we want the body to come up slightly here, like this. We didn't do that before, so this is putting a bit more detail into our animation. Bring that, select the toe and the heel IK, and Alt R to get rid of the rotation, and then add in a bit of new rotation. Bring that off the floor like that. Okay, we're good. Select everything. I, location, rotation, and let's do the extreme down now. Go to frame 20. Let's have a look at our reference. This front foot, okay, is forward. Is forward. This foot is, the toe is just coming off the ground, and we are squashing down. Okay, so let's get rid of all the rotation. Alt R. We want to bring this. Where are we? We want to bring this down. Okay, I think we also want this foot to be further back. Oh no, it wants to be forward, sorry, so it's in the right position. Maybe it even wants to be a bit more forward. And it's this leg that is just touching with the toes. So again, we'll get rid of the rotation there, bring that back, and just make sure it's just touching with the toe like that. Okay, good. And we're gonna hit I, location, rotation. Did we bring it down? Did we bring the... I think we can go a little further down maybe with that, just a teeny bit, just to sell that a little bit more. Okay, I, location, rotation. Then we want our most up pose. Okay, so if we look at this, so where the leg is back, is on his tiptoe. This is where the head is at its most extreme, so we want to push that body up. And the foot is sort of curved back, ready to flick forward for the stomp on the ground. So rotate that toe up, rotate the, so we can be on our extreme tippy toes. Bring this right up, not all the way up because that would be too exaggerated, but up still. This foot is a little forward like this, and if you remember, it's facing that way like that. Now, the more this comes off the ground, the more exaggerated the stomp will be. So if you've got a really big guy, you want him to come, his foot to come off the floor quite a lot. And then we hit I, lock that in. Now we have our full half a walk cycle there. So if we, technically, if we copy that, and we, so select these frames, these middle frames, Control C to copy them, place your marker on 6 there, Control C to copy them, Control Shift V, okay? That's done it for us again, nicely. So it's copied those over. So now if we select them all, press G to grab, and then move them down like that. So we're on 80. I'm going to set this to be 80. Now we should have a real slow motion walk. I'll just hide that. Okay, but it looks nice. All right, you can see right at the end there's a bit of a it clips because it's repeating the same frame twice. So just to get this a little better, I'm just going to place each frame on 5 instead of 10. So that's 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. Okay, I'm also going to come to this little button here, output properties, and make sure the frame rate's set to 30, which it is. I'm going to set that to 40. Oh, we're not right here. A bit of a problem there. Now you can space out this walk so it's not even if you want to, but I find the walks are fine to be even. There we go. All right, that'll work for our first animate walk. So what we do to make this loop a little smoother is go to the second to last frame. So in this case, 39. If yours is different, this will still work. Lock in a keyframe there. Delete 40. So then click on the last frame, if it will. X to delete, then drag that onto 40, and now it'll be really smooth. Okay, good. So that's one of the animations we need. We'll leave it there for this video, and in the next video we'll do the run, and then we'll get both of those in. Okay, I'll see you in the next one.